Hi everyone, my name is Gina, and today I'm going to discuss homeowners insurance and what you, as a consumer, need to know about it in order to make the right decision. Buying a homeowner's insurance policy, commonly referred to as hazard insurance, can seem like a daunting task. Insurance companies and agents just use so much lingo that we aren't familiar with. In this short video, I am going to try to clear things up for you so you can make an informed decision. First, let's talk about the types of insurance policies available. The ISO has 7 standardized home insurance forms in use. The first is HO1, or the basic form. A basic policy form provides coverage on a home against 11 listed perils. Personal property is generally included in this type of coverage, but must be explicitly listed. The covered perils include fire or lightning, windstorm or hail, vandalism or malicious mischief, theft, damage from vehicles and aircrafts, explosion, riot or civil commotion, glass breakage, smoke, volcanic eruption, and personal liability. Exceptions include floods and earthquakes. Next is HO2, also known as the broad form. This is a more advanced form that provides coverage on a home against 17 listed perils, inclusive of the 11 in the HO1. This coverage is usually a named perils policy, which lists the events that would be covered. The HO3 policy is also referred to as the special form. Typically, this is the most comprehensive policy for single-family homes. It is an all-risk policy which usually only excludes earthquakes and floods. If something is not specifically excluded in the policy, it means it's covered. Then we come to the HO4, or renter's insurance policy. This policy covers your personal property when you are renting a home. The HO5 is the premier homeowner policy. It covers the same as the HO3 plus more. Next is the HO6 used by owners of condominiums. Finally, we have the HO8 for older homes. This is for those who live in older homes for which the replacement cost far exceeds the property's market value. Now that we've covered the types of policies, let's move to the various classes of coverage. Under property coverages, first comes coverage A for dwelling. This coverage covers the value of the dwelling itself, not including the value of the land. Typically, a co-insurance clause states that as long as the dwelling is insured to 80% of its actual value, losses will be adjusted at replacement cost, up to the policy limits. This is in place to give a buffer against inflation. Keep in mind that HO4, a renter's policy, typically has no coverage A, although it has additional coverages for improvements. Then comes coverage B for other structures. This covers other structures around the property which are not used for business, except as a private garage. Typically limited at 10 to 20% of coverage A, with additional amounts available by endorsement. Next is coverage C for personal property. This covers your personal property with limits for the theft and loss of particular classes of items. Typically, 50 to 70% of coverage A is required for contents, which means that consumers may pay for much more insurance than necessary. This has led to some calls for more choice. Coverage D provides for loss of use coverage and additional living expenses. This coverage is associated with additional living expenses such as rental expenses if your home was to suffer a claim in no unlivable conditions. Next is coverage for personal liability and medical expenses brought on by third parties. There are also additional coverages available such as debris removal, reasonable repairs, damage to trees and shrubs for certain named perils, fire department charges, removal of property, credit card and identity theft charges, loss assessment, collapse, landlord's furnishings and some building additions. These vary upon the form, the state you are in and the insurance company which you have your coverage with. Finally, you have to look into exclusions. This is a very important section which clearly tells you what is not covered in your policy. Generally excluded are things like earth movement, water damage, power failure, neglect, war, nuclear hazard, intentional loss and much more. Well, I hope I was able to shed some light on homeowners insurance for you today. There are many choices out there for you, so do some research and make sure you make the right one. Of course, There are insurance agents who can do all the research for you and shop your coverage with multiple carriers to get you the best deal. For example, Boardwalk Insurance Group is my go-to agency. They are professional, knowledgeable, represent tons of companies and write business in a majority of states in the U.S. I highly recommend you check them out at www.boardwalkinsurance.com. You won't regret it. Thank you for your time and good luck with your insurance policy purchase.